Okay, it might be, I don't think it's premature for me to pick up this. And HB might be too hard. 2B. Come in here and really cajole these areas, really work them. This is a demand. Now I'm looking at this going, wow, drawing one class, and I'm showing you this. I just was at a loss, you know, for what to draw next. I didn't want to just draw the apple, you know. Maybe if you tell me you want me to draw the apple, I'll draw the apple. I was thinking about doing grapes next. Unless I find something better. We'll see. See how I'm mindful of that periwinkle shell. I think that's what it is. Mindful of that seashell. If anything's a seashell, we know that. Let's go here like this. You gotta start following these things. You know, where do they go? You know, and the value, like this thing here is a darker value than this. I hope at least one of you get your hands on a nest. Hopefully you didn't have to steal it, you just found it. And that's the thing, you know, I don't know if I'd be able to steal it, you know, unless I knew it was abandoned, you know. And that's the thing. You might even be able to buy this. You might go somewhere and find that where they make birds' nests. They are official, but you know, people make them. You know, maybe you can get on the internet and find out where you can buy a bird's nest. I don't know. Never thought of that. Maybe Michael's has stuff like this. I might have to look. I mean, I should look for you guys. You know, if I see something, I'll let you know. Little highlight there, coming in with that blade of grass, and then because this is made of grass. This is all grass, blades of grass, leaves of grass. Walt Whitman. So here we go. See that? And I know here I made this passage over here because that's supposed to be a blade of grass, a big thick blade of grass, and it tucks underneath the bottom of this nest. I kind of want to make it a little darker because I like that shape, you know, just like, and then this just cuts like that, and this is gone like that, because this blade of grass wraps into itself. It goes in like that, and this one hooks down and around underneath like that, and this white shape here is important. It's like a hole of a donut. You know, the donut hole is important. You know, not the one that you eat, but the donut is a part you eat, right? But there are donut holes. But what makes a donut? You have to have the donut hole as well as the donut. You know, that's great for like artists, like, okay, you know, the whole negative positive space thing. The shapes within the shapes. There you go. And blender. Where is that blender? It's down. Here's my blender. So I'm going to finish up the nest, and then I'm going to turn it back on and withdraw the shell. I don't think it's completely done, this area, you know, being the nest. I think it needs more work. But I'll tell you what, I think that we're going to do is we're going to venture into the seashell area, move back into the nest, and then you know, try to zero in any of the trouble areas here, and then we're gonna hit this whole thing with white charcoal and we'll call it done. So I'm taking the back of the brush and I'm gonna be doing this, kind of like getting a little bit of a chaotic effect without being too dominant. See, little things. I could see what it's doing, but you might not. But if you were to see this in real life, maybe you would see it. Anyways, let's take care of that seashell. And this is a tricky little thing. I still say go dark first, and so, you know, we'll do that. I'm gonna go with a HP though, because this is such a subtle item here. I think HB will be good. And it's, like I say, it's tricky. So there's like a pattern, as if, you know, like painted as you on the seashell. It's really not, but there's like patterns and stuff on the seashell, and so I recommend not to worry about that right now. There's two ways to do that. One is to actually paint in the shapes and then shade the volume. I'm going to do the volume first, you know, getting the lights and the darks, and then I'm going to go back in there and work on the texture of the shell. When I start doing the patterns of the shell, then I'm going to go counter, like this. You know, I'm going to work on the contour. So I'm going to counter stroke this. First I'm going like that for the volume, and then I'm going to go counter stroke like that for the patterns that are showing up on the shell. That's what we're going to do. That's the plan. I think the whole thing needs to be done with charcoal pencil and compressed charcoal. I probably won't do any charcoal sticks on this. It's such a delicate item. If it was a big seashell, maybe I would go in there with I would definitely go in there with the blocks of charcoal. It's smaller, and so that's part of the reason why I won't go in there with the sticks of charcoal. Kind of a little dip there, you know, I just put that in there from what I saw on the shell. I'm trying to be, you know, I'm trying to pay attention to all these things. I'm fortunate to come across this idea to put a seashell in a nest. I was going to draw the nest, and I was like, something is missing. Then I go, I gotta get egg. I gotta get like a bird's egg, and I thought, no, I mean, we're going to find a bird's egg. Because they're really small. Like, they're smaller than this shell. Little bird's eggs. Coolest thing. And then I remember the seashells I was showing you in a different video. And I grabbed that bag of seashells, and voila. That was that. And I was I was really excited about it. See how that little guy's, look at that, man. The seashell is just popping out. You know? Don't want to do any hard outlines. Be careful with that. I just have to direct it like that. Tucks in there more, that's all. Working on the full value range of this shell before I go in with the other, the texture. And like, if you're curious about, well, I'm not done yet. I'm not gonna jump the gun. We've gotten this far, man. I'm not gonna ruin it by jumping the gun. I recommend before you do like a drawing like this, you know, you start getting into this, have like your lunch, you know, have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your meal, you know, and then get to work, you know, so you don't think about food. Now, of course, there's those sadists that say, oh, no, be lean and mean, wait till you're starving and then go and paint, because that desperation is going to show up in your work. You know, I do all those kinds of things, you know. But I mean, I tell my students, you know, like what I just told you, you know, get something to eat, you know, get your coffee, get going. You know, you don't want to be thinking about something else instead of your work, you know. I'm focused on my work. I don't want to be thinking about food when I'm drawing, you know. Although sometimes, I don't know, that might make for a more, you know, strong, you know, work of art. You know, suffer for your art. You know, that kind of a thing. Okay. And I go back out, you know, around the perimeter of that seashell. No, I'm not going to put the highlight on there. I think I'm going to get into the, you know, the patterns. Like there's one here. See how I'm going along the contour lengthwise of the shell, and it's like this beautiful band. It's so awesome. Notice I'm holding the pencil to the side at an angle. See that? And then it kind of goes like this. So I recommend like maybe kind of plotting it out, like it kind of goes like that. And then I can come in and fill it in. But this is a lighter tone than this top part. And there's a little highlight there. So I'm mindful of how I'm applying the marks. I go like that for the shading of this, and then I go like that for the painting of the patterns on the shell. All these little things I think really help make a better drawing. And what's really cool is the seashell is similar to the marble. They're related somehow because they're both shiny. They both have some kind of a, you know, like marking. You know, the marble has its marking and the seashell has its marking. And I don't know, that might add to the quality of the subject matter. Like there's a mystique to this drawing. You know, what is it? Maybe that's it. I don't know. See that? I mean, I think that's really cool. Not because I'm drawing it. Like if I, you know, it's really neat. You know, I think a drawing of something is not the same as a photograph of something. I think a drawing of something is not the same as the thing itself. So the drawing is the point of view of the artist. And so you're the artist and you're sharing somebody your way of looking at the world. And that's what literature does, poetry does. That's what everything that we want to tune into does. So artists play an amazing role. It might not be fully understood. I think it's been fully appreciated. I mean, Michelangelo was probably the richest guy in Europe at one point, next to the kings and the cardinals, right? Minus the kings and the cardinals and some of your more wealthy merchants, Michelangelo was the most wealthiest guy there in Florence, because he worked for the Pope, you know, going back and forth from there to Rome. And that's why he was so rich. He worked for the Pope, who had more money than the Pope, capiche? So, you know, artists, you know, I mean, we've had some glory, you know, artists have gotten some of their glory. And the whole idea about the starving artist image, that's just like a meme. But it's true. Vincent van Gogh, I think, started that whole meme because he was a starving artist, unfortunately. He was brilliant and all that, but not everybody was. I mean, Caravaggio wasn't a starving artist. He was a crazy artist. You know, he was out on the lam because he murdered somebody in a sword fight. You know, but he did that to himself. But he was not a starving artist. He was kind of a rock star in a way. So was Michelangelo. Peter Paul Rubens, he wasn't a starving artist. He was a businessman. He was extremely successful. He had a studio where people worked under him. And he produced big old paintings, you know, man, they're huge paintings, and they're like, you know, done in a series, you know, like these, you know, 8x10, you know, canvases, and even bigger, you know, 7x8, you know, man, it's amazing. So, and then everyone's familiar with, or we used to all know Norman Rockwell. He was very, very popular, and if you look at a Norman Rockwell painting, you'll be amazed. And he used photographs. He posed his models, and he would take a bunch of photographs and do like a drawing, and he would do a color study. He would do the finished, you know, painting, oil paintings like this. I saw him in real life, man, and it was amazing. You know, amazing. And then there's all this CGI and computer graphics, which, you know, I didn't major in when I was in school. I mean, because this stuff wasn't really around. It shows you my age. I messed with Photoshop and stuff like that, and some 3D modeling, but I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about doing some charcoal drawings of some compositional idea, and then transfer that into canvas and do a full-blown painting. I miss that. Those are the times, you know, that I want to revisit. And I know I can do it. I just gotta, you know, what do I want to do? And then do it. Kind of a zigzag pattern. You see that? And that's because that's what I see on the shell. It's a beautiful shell. Here there's really, thank God there's nothing on that part. I can't, you know, I kind of refrain from doing any patterns on that. Now we're getting there, right? It's pretty cool, right? And like, if you so desire, put a little bit of this paintbrush action over here. So you see how that works? I'm not going over the whole thing. And I won't go over the highlight. I'm just going to go like that. And I'm telling you, man, that really just does something to it. Like right here and right there. And then I start painting around here and there. See that? Really subtle, beautiful, soft. Again, we could play with this. Like, look at this vine charcoal here. I'm going to use it for some areas in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray fix this with something that's called a clear coat. I'm going to show you what clear coat is. So like when you're done with a charcoal drawing, you can use clear coat and just spray over it. Sure, there's spray fixative, but we'll look at that some other time. We'll talk about that separately. Because with spray fixative, you could spray it on here and then you can build layers. You know, but for the final thing, you don't just use spray fixative, just clear coat it. That's like where it's like the end all be all. And then when you put it under glass or something like that, you'll protect it from getting all smudged. It's important, you know, to think like that. Okay, so we'll talk about that for this too. We'll get there. We're almost there. But I'm not gonna chintz on this. I'm gonna make sure that, like for instance, that has to be taken care of. You know, this here. And I think that my shape isn't as good as the other shape. You know, I gotta work on that. And like this here needs help. You know, it's not completely like that. I think that it needs some help. I'm not gonna jump the gun. Yeah, it needs some help here. This is dark. Like that. Almost made an outline. Be careful. Happens to the best of us. I hope that my back's not in the way. I think my shoulder is though. We're getting this guy. There is like a part that's missing. You know what it is? It's like this little tail. Let me show you. Like right here, there's something that's supposed to come out and it stops in midair. So I'm gonna get that right in here. So I'm gonna go from the light area and then pull out like that into the dark. And I'm gonna repeat. I don't go like this. You know, there's a strategy to my madness here, and I'm gonna show you. Now I go like this. It'll like that. Now I'm gonna rotate this thing and go like that. Rotate and go like that. Really, now I kind of did that. I lift up and I hit it. Lift up and I hit it. Always going like that. Always going like that. Lift it up, hit it. Lift it up, hit it. That was a mistake. But you see, this is a mistake right there. But that might be an effect that you can use in another situation. And I almost want to keep it there because I kind of like it. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep it there. I like that happy accident. And I'm going to use it. And then the thing is, it does cut here like that. That doesn't even make sense, but I like the way it looks. Remember, I said I was a surrealist, right? Kind of, you know, I sometimes can't help it. I was a naturalist, realist, the naturalist more than anything. And then I got into surrealism. And then abstract expressionism. And I think I'll return. I'm there and back again. I'm going to probably go back to my roots as a representationalist and do some serious canvases and oils and maybe some acrylics and gouache. And to do that, I have to create the black and white still life, or black and white portrait, or black and white fantasy image, or surreal, or abstract, semi-abstract, whatever it is. I have to have a black and white composition, transfer that onto a canvas, and do the painting. That's how I was. That's what I studied when I was in school. I think I was doing that more than any other student, you know, just because they were interested in other things. And that's, you know, when you're in grad school, you kind of like talk to your professor and say, I kind of want to focus on this. You discover something, and then they kind of help you figure out, you know, how to get there. And that's what grad school is for. It's pretty cool. I learned a lot at the time, and there's a lot that I could have learned and I didn't. I regret it, but here we are. And like that part of the shell is a little bit off. You know, like I say, I'm not gonna renege. And I will use my eraser to fix it, because this thing's supposed to tuck underneath the smaller coil. And I had it overlapping in reverse. It's a very, very fine thing. So this just kind of goes like that, and then this thing tucks behind it like that, and I had it overlapping in reverse. That's no good. This is kind of a hard outline. We don't have outlines in here, so let's avoid that. Now, watch this. I think this will be cool. Now remember I talked about the white charcoal? I'm not going to hit that until I'm completely ready. Look at that highlight. Isn't that cool? See how I go against the grain? See that little thing popping out? The most brightest thing is not the seashell, it's actually the blades of grass. But I might reverse it and say, no, this should be brighter because it's like a seashell, you know. So that's again me, you know, having my creative license, you know, because it just seems like it makes more sense, you know. The shell is kind of old. It's been dust. It's a little bit dusty. That's why it's not showing all its glory. It's not shining in all its glory, but let's see. Help it along. Now this has to be cutting in like that. If you don't have the shape right, it looks flat. It doesn't look right. You see how that? I'm really struggling with that. But you know, we'll get it. I'm not gonna renege on my seashell, and you shouldn't either. That's another thing. Try to get some seashells. You can buy them at a. I bet you go to Michael's. They might even have seashells for sale. You can order. You know, you weren't in quarantine. You might be able to order some stuff. You know, who knows? A bag of seashells. Can you find them? And I think I did that same thing over there again. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's supposed to. This is supposed to be more like an ellipse. I'm really picky about that. That's a really important thing for me. Kind of hooks around like this, and this tucks around behind it. And I really want that to happen. I'm really picky about that. It's got to tuck around behind it, and we'll get it. When you know what something does, it helps you better with your rendition of it. I call it the philosophy. You know it's philosophy. Yeah, that's better. And it's not done. I have to come in here with the HB, I think. I mean, this is like the star of the drawing, the seashell. So I think that I should really not just, you know, botch it up. I should really pay attention to its fidelity, you know. It's so beautiful. The marks, it has to have fidelity in there. It's so important. And I pre-sharpened all my tools before we started this. So we talked about sharpening, right? Soon I'm going to come up with there's like 3 pieces of grass that are in front of that. I'm going to be hitting that soon. And then the white charcoal, and then we're more or less done. Hopefully. Now here, it can get something. Hopefully I got the camera pointing to that. This here is going to be dark. And this here is going to be white, or light. See that? I might be able to hit this with the eraser. Like right here is important. That is too fat, but watch what we can do with it. Well, that was clumsy. It was horrible. Oh man, I ruined it. But we can come over here. I want to make that sharp white stroke, and look what we can do with it. So I didn't erase a mistake. I created a mark with my eraser. Very important. See that? Creating a mark with my eraser. Now I'm actually drawing weird vein type activity of the marble. We're almost done with this beautiful little thing here. I couldn't have done without nature helping me. I kind of blur the edges, like right where this tucks underneath here. And I even exaggerated it from the original. Really get the shape. Really get that shape locked down. Now this light area there, I don't know what that is. That doesn't even exist. Right here, that's totally made up. I'm gonna get rid of it. It's not it's unnatural. But this does. That's like a lit up. That's like a piece of grass. That's more realistic. And I'm really, like, I really want to make this the star of the drawing, so I have to really pay more attention to this guy. I'm not going to say it's done. Some of us would say it's done. No, no, no. I'm going to really come in here and talk to this thing and let it talk back to me. We haven't even hit it with the white charcoal yet, you see? Every little area needs to be taken into consideration. See, I like how it's kind of coming out, you know, that dark area. It's beautiful. This is one of those drawings where, you know, I go to sleep, wake up next day and look at the still life in the drawing and fix the problems. Remember that, you know? I do that a lot for my serious work. And I might have to do it with this. I don't think it's going to be such a big problem. I have to move the shell to the left or to the right or whatever. But, like, oh, I missed that little highlight, you know? I missed that piece of grass that should be there because it looks like it helps the composition. Like, little things like that, you know? Oh, that smudge shouldn't be there. Like right here, there's something here that I want to really emphasize. This kind of goes in like that. It goes like that. Little highlight there. And then I want to come in here and just control it like so. See that? I'm really getting a clue from the subject here. And this thing, this black one is like is in front of it. It's just so cool how that thing is there. Now let's say we want to do the overlapping. Like this is what I'm talking about. You come over here with your pencil and look at this. This thing here, it goes like this, and it just kind of comes right. It creates right in front of it. I mean, that's freaking cool, and it goes behind this other one here. It almost looks like a crack, you know. It's like people who are afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm gonna come over here, and this kind of goes like that. And then there's another one that goes like this. And those are the three. And you know, somebody might say, no, don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I took the risk. Okay, so now, let's do this. Let's play around with this. Come around the back, like here. Sorry I didn't zoom in on certain areas. I don't know if this is even a good video. I don't want to do it again. I'm going to do more. there's something here that's not done. It's just bugging me. So I come back over here with my pencil and I go, wait, you know what? There's a lot of things going on with this still life. Overlapping, you know, that this is dark, but that behind it is a little bit darker. And there is a sliver of white, and I can do that with the pencil. Important. And then here, this is lighter. Shape is kind of funky. I kind of want to make it dip more here. And climb up there. And I want this to dip up like that. And now, watch this, like this over here. It has to be dealt with. You see how it is? Like, you really have to work this out. I just want to redraw this and have it done from a different angle. But this suffices for this demo. I mean, I like this drawing. It's a pretty drawing. It's a nice drawing. Oh, and I have to do this. Watch this. This piece of grass is overlapping our shell, but the shell shows from underneath, and that's so cool. Right there. A little piece of detail we do not want to overlook. See that? Yes, sir. That's we want that. We want to get that in there. That makes it so much better. And then you can come over here with a pencil. And this needs some help. But then here, I want to like really work this out. So we use the white charcoal. I don't go all over the place. Strategic application. And like there's things that are kind of sloppy still, so you got to come in here and really let it know what's up. Don't be afraid, but at the same time, don't mess it up. And there's so much going on here, right? There's so much going on. Like for instance here, this has to be really dealt with. Like this has to be darker here. And then this here has a shadow. It's pretty cool stuff that's going on there. And this I want to get rid of. I don't want this right here. I don't need it. So you take this and you just kind of get rid of it. There we go. Micro smudging, micro smudging. I didn't smudge the whole thing. Micro smudging. See that? Micro smudging. What did I call that? Constricted smudging. Like in certain areas you just kind of get in there. So we figured that out ourselves, class. Constricted smudging is a technique that I invented. There's a lot more that can be done on this, but we're almost done. Now I think that would be cool is to have some overlapping shapes like this that are black, like this here. See that? And then I'm gonna get like a strand here overlapping like that, and see that? And that's how we, you know, can really help it. Going back and forth with the dark and the light. And we're not done yet. We're almost, but I'm really just trying to get to the heart of this thing. And then there's like something that wants to come over here like this. It's kind of hard, but I think I should try to get it in like that. And that's kind of messed up if I don't fix it with this pencil here. So we're going to do that right here, right now. Yeah, that helps it. Some of us can outline. We don't want to have too much of an outline. That's pretty hip. Some good stuff right there. Come in like that with this white strand here, and then hit it with this to give it some thickness. And that's actually happening there. I'm glad that some shadows are cast. Whoa. Getting kind of surreal. Watch out. Now you probably wonder, where's the reflection? There's no reflection here of the nest. The reflection, you know the reflection? It's right here, gang. And it kind of just disappears into oblivion, into the reflection. So that's the reflection right there of our little nest. And like, it's just so much, you know, going on. I could even play with this reflection, like, you know, say, hey, you know, this one here is kind of like this. Oh, that's too much. I use my finger, I got desperate. So you line this up like this, and you come down like that, and you say, okay, maybe it's gonna go like that. That's pretty cool, right? That's supposed to be the reflection of that. This thing creeps into the shadow. Like that. Now I don't know, like, there's some stuff going on here that's not done. It's supposed to be in shadow. Like this thing here, it creeps underneath, but why is it still light, you see? it goes like this, and then it goes like that. And then it bends up like that. It's kind of crazy. That's like telling me to fix it. You know, it's like, ah, okay, all right. Now I don't want to get lazy. Sometimes you get tired, you gotta stop. And you might, like I'm doing this in one sitting. You might want to do it in 3. You know, this is a lot of work. You know, it takes concentration, gang. So I made that bold outline just to pop it out, but then I gotta make sure I let her know what's up, and then pull it back. Okay, still need some work here. We're almost done. I'm always seeing some trouble areas that are minor, but they just kind of bug me because I'm a perfectionist sometimes. It's like this here, it's kind of flat and needs to be, there we go, see that? Kind of light, has to be darker. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to finish it up with these contrasts. Now I'm going to work out the contrast, get the blacks and the whites that really pop out, and soften up with the grays. Like, you know, and that's what's important, is before you say it's done, you really pop out the contrast, the blacks and the whites. And the camera's rolling, right? You're getting all this. This is one of those drawings that are this too fun to stop. Like, I don't want to stop drawing on this thing. Thing is, there's a point to consider. If you keep on drawing and drawing, you might kill the drawing. You see? So I'm not adding any more detail. I'm not adding more hair or anything. What I'm doing is I'm bringing out the light, pushing back the dark, creating the contrast that I need, and I'm cleaning up like these little pock holes here. See, it's like, what is that? It's a pock hole. It's not supposed to be there. So we're doing that right now, gang. Really cleaning up this little mess here, little thing there. See that? It's just like, ah. And then this, what is that? Like, what's this right there? What is that? That's like a flat piece of paper there. That doesn't exist. You know what that's supposed to be? I'll show you. This is supposed to be a dark area, a negative space right here. So again, this is why we sharpen our utensils. Ah, bingo. Bingo was his name. Oh, B-I-N-G-O. There it is. Now this could be a clump of grass that creates that mess. But this stuff here, that was just a great shape that's not really serving any purpose. I'm coming in here now, I have to attack this and, you know, get that going. And I do like that contrast, but yeah, it's there. Actually, it's there. It's not a prefabrication. It's actually a recording of what I'm actually seeing. You know, it's kind of weird. So here's the finished drawing with the tape removed. Notice the effect, the contrast of the sharp edge there, with these soft vignette type of things. And look at the effects that we have with the, you know, little areas here crackling over here, and then over here with the vein kind of extending. So it creates a nice conclusion of the matter. Okay, so this concludes today's demo, and I hope you got something out of it. Okay, what I have is the finished drawing in a can of Crystal Clear by Krylon, and what we can do is we can spray a coat of this, and I'm using my cell phone, so it's going to be a little bit jumpy, so let's give it a shot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this a little more than 12 inches away, and this is how I'm going to spray it. I go off the drawing and I go onto the drawing like that. Off, on, and off, on, like that. And that's pretty much all I recommend doing. Now, there's other products like what is known as spray fixative, and that's something that you can use to draw in consecutive layers, which is something we can talk about later.